Hello, hello, hello. Hello. I hope everybody's having a beautiful, positive day because you absolutely deserve it. Has anybody told you today that you are worthy of the best life, that you are deserving of the best life? Have you told yourself that today? I think it's important that we recognize that we have to be our biggest cheerleader. We have to be the one cheering ourselves on. And I just posted a YouTube video called Believe in Yourself. And I'm just speaking about being your biggest cheerleader. Now, most of you listening, you are so good at being everybody else's cheerleader. You are so good at cheering on your children, your friends, your best friend. You are their biggest cheerleader. You're their biggest fan. Some of you have these celebrity crushes and these artists that you play on repeat and you're obsessed with them and you're their biggest fan. But when it comes to you, you put yourself on the back burner. You're the last person that you think of. You're not the priority in your life. And it's important for us to know that you are the end all be all of your life. You are the end all be all. You are the only one, the only thinker in your reality. The only person that you hear the thoughts of is yours, is your own. You see through your eyes, you hear through your ears. Nobody else is experiencing life the way that you are, right? So the most important person in your entire life is you. And we have to recognize this. And then we have to work on all the reasons that we don't believe that we are worthy of being number one in our life. So we have to learn by teaching ourselves to be our biggest cheerleader. And, I had to ask myself, why don't I believe in myself? Where does that even come from, right? Why is it that I give so much into the world and I don't receive the same energy back? Well, it's because we get in life what we believe we deserve. And if you're giving, but it's coming from a space of needing that energy to be returned, then you're looking for the source of that energy outside of yourself, right? We have to become the source of our own energy. We have to become our own source. Do you know how powerful you become when you are your own source of energy, your own source of love, your own source of passion, your own source of excitement? You become an entirely different energy from those around you. And that is a very magnetic energy to be in. So we have to recognize that we are the end all be all to our life. And in doing that, we have to be our biggest cheerleader. My computer, I have right here, it says my mind is worth millions. I am enough. Seeing this on a consistent basis now is programming into my mind new thoughts. It's changing the neural pathways in my brain. Whereas before, I wouldn't even recognize that my mind is worth millions. I would think the thought and there, and you hold on to that for a moment, right? But then it goes away. And then the circumstances of your life are showing you otherwise. But when you can see something on a consistent basis, have that program into your mind for it to become your new normal, to where a point where I don't even have to see it because I've embodied it. I believe it within myself. I know it of myself. Right? Now I'm operating from a different baseline. The baseline that I'm operating from is that which my mind is worth millions, and I truly believe that, and that I know I'm enough. We become our own source because then we're not looking outside of ourselves for somebody else to tell me that or that I am enough. So very specific to you, what your beliefs of yourself are, and we have to learn to understand where those beliefs come from, why they're holding us back, right? As somebody who has gone years being in this give energy and unable to receive myself because I didn't feel like I was worthy of receiving in the first place, right? Do you see how it doesn't matter how much you give? If you're not open to being receiving of that in return, the reciprocation can't even come into your life when you don't believe you're worthy of it. I'm trying to give my future kids a beautiful mom and beautiful eyes, but our first date is a start. Well, just know that that woman out there that you desire as a partner and a beautiful, loving role model and mother for your children, she exists. You just have to know that she exists and align in a version of you that already has her. And she'll show up. It's the truth. Be still and know. Ask and you shall receive. The thing is what I've realized is that you have to be so specific with what you want. Why is staying positive and humble so hard these days? Moses, because we live in a world where there's so much stimulation all the time. All the time. From the minute these children are being brought into the world, now they have a tablet in front of their face. They're being programmed to be addicted to living on an instant stimulation all the time. Something in front of our faces all the time, right? And when you live that way, you're in constant need to be distracted from yourself all the time. So why is it hard to stay positive and humble is because so many people don't even know what it is to be grounded in themselves and to really appreciate and know themselves. Know thyself, right? When you know thyself, you don't need anything to feel full. But so many people are empty out there and they're searching for something. So they're instantly being stimulated constantly all around them by the social medias, the tablets, the news, the anything. Even at work, there's just so much going on. You're just always on this hamster wheel in life, and they've never ever known what it is to be calm, to be regulated, to be off the hamster wheel, to not be searching for anything outside of themselves, because everything comes from within us, right? So we have to create this environment where we can thrive. We have to create the environment. And in the law of assumption, I've been studying this law of assumption for over a year now. Neville Goddard, mind-blowing, life. He speaks of a mental diet, which I think is so important and relevant to the times we're in now, because we are so exposed to information. Like everywhere, anywhere and everywhere, there is something that can take your attention. And I mean, think about it. We could be on TikTok for hours. Hands up if you're that person that gets swept away and sucked into social media for hours. And it becomes unhealthy for us because our mind is just constantly being ping, 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 stimulated. And it creates kind of chaos in the brain, right? And so when you're chaotic in your mind, then your behavior is going to be chaotic. And so the world that we live in is just filled with a lot of people that are empty and they're chaotic in their mind. They don't know what it feels like to be present, to be calm, to be regulated, to not even have thoughts, like to just be like absent of thought and present in the body. I didn't even know what it was to be present until I started practicing and healing my anxiety. I mean, how many people in this world are anxious? They don't even realize it. It's like if you drink caffeine, do you know that this world that we live in right now, and if you go further into the thought of this system, it's the matrix. And this matrix system is created to keep us off the path of our soul. It's created to keep us from being our best self. Now, there's so much to it. There's so many layers to it, to a point where even our diet, the caffeine, the sugar that we take, dysregulates our nervous system. Being out of the matrix. See, this is the thing is, we're always in the matrix. We are always in the matrix. It is waking up and then using it. That's what we want to do, because we're always in the matrix. And if you can wake up and become a conscious co-creator, claim who you want to be, become the version of you that has all the things before you have all the things, right? You are then beating the system. The system is designed for you to fail because of all this distraction. It's designed for you to fail by being focused on the lack. It's designed for you to fail by having you focused and fixated on everybody else's life before your own. And when you can actually wake up and realize oh my gosh, like I'm here to master myself in this system. I can do that. There's people out there that are thriving right now. Why is it that they're thriving and I'm not, right? It's not to compare ourselves to them, but what are they doing that we're not doing? Well, a lot of those people have mastered their mindset. They've done mindset work. They've mastered abundance mindset. And I'm working on that myself right now because I recognize that there's no difference between me and the people that have that great success. I mean, success, again, last live I did, somebody asked, what do you believe success is? I don't smoke anything. I don't smoke anything. I don't drink alcohol. I don't do any drugs, no vaping, no marijuana, none of that, nothing. Just clean, like nothing. And I think that's another great question that you ask, because I think that is so important. And I know that there is a lot of backlash when somebody tells other people to be sober. I don't even like the word sober because I think that we should just say healthy, right? I believe that if you can just go cold turkey on everything and just like find happiness and inner peace without needing those substances to help you in life, like cope, then you are going to be living a whole different experience because you don't need anything external to yourself. You recognize that you are your own source for everything. You find calmness within yourself. It doesn't come from outside of you. You find that peace within yourself. You create an environment where you can thrive in that, right? I can go out to a bar with friends and have a soda, and just sit there. And I love that, Johnny. That means that you have found an environment that is setting you up for that success. That is so important. That is so, so important. And so, yeah. Was I going to say? So the topic of today's discussion is, I just need to finish my topic of discussion because I did come on here with purpose. So today, excuse me, there's weirdos in here talking about some weird stuff. Okay. So today's topic is decide who you want to be right now. And I had to really get this in my mind because I'm somebody who is a more anxious person. And I grew up with a lot of anxiety. And when you're an anxious person, you take something that's happening or something of the past or a word somebody said or a phrase or something someone told you or did, and you take that and you almost let that moment consume you. Those words consume you. The person consume you. Like whatever it is, okay? You take that and you give it meaning about yourself. You give it meaning. You make it mean, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't know why I just got restricted. That's so weird. Anyways, you give it meaning and you make it about yourself. And I've gone my entire life just creating so much meaning around things that didn't even matter. Like, if you could think about it, my entire life has been so chaotic because I've held on to the smallest of things and made them so much bigger in my mind than they had to be. And so something new that I have discovered within the past maybe 6 months even is that 5 seconds ago does not even exist. 5 seconds ago does not even exist. If you could be so present in your life that you recognize that 5 seconds ago no longer exists, then you will be able to learn to be present in your life. You will be able to look at your previous behavior even 5 seconds ago, or whatever was said or whatever happened or whatever that person did or said to you or whatever the circumstance is. And you can detach from it like it just happened and it's done. When you can live this way, you are just, it is such a feeling of release. It is such a feeling of peace. Because when I tell you, you become so addicted to that feeling of chaos that any little thing and every little thing you grab onto and you make the biggest deal out of it. That has been me my entire life. And I have decided, right? We decide to be a new version of self. I don't want to be that version anymore. It first takes me being accountable for how I've been showing up. It first takes me recognizing, oh, that's a part of me that can exist in the now if I want her to, right? Because that's a timeline that is existing. That version of me, I can be her right now if I want to. And it still happens. This is a journey to self-mastery. So in recognizing that is a part of me that exists, I can also decide to be a new version. And the version of me that's in her power is the version of me that recognizes that 5 seconds ago, it doesn't even exist. It doesn't even need my attention. It doesn't even need my energy. And when you get there, whatever has happened to you in your past, that can become a completely separate version of you where like you're looking at that version and that version is outside of you because they're in a whole different reality of existence. They're not even like, we're not even in the same energy, right? It's like the last video that I posted on TikTok here of a picture of me with my face bashed in by my music manager in 2015. That version of me, that is a girl that didn't love herself. That is a girl that didn't know her value, didn't know her worth. That is a girl that was a victim in her life. She was a victim to the circumstances. She was attracting in more scenarios and situations where she was going to be a victim in those things. Why? Because she didn't feel worthy of anything at all. And that is a version. No, I'm not on IG. I only have TikTok, YouTube, and a podcast. Feels with Meesh, all the same handle for everything, guys. Candace, I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I love you so much. So we can decide that we want to be different versions of ourselves. And again, like that 5 seconds ago doesn't even exist. If you reacted and you were a version of you that you weren't proud of, we have every second to change that decision, make a new decision for ourselves and decide something different for ourselves. Like you have the power to do that because you're in the power of your life. It's like shifting through states. We're in a different state. We can be in a different state the entire day. I mean, how many times do you wake up and it's cloudy outside and immediately you're annoyed because it's cloudy and you're blaming your mood on the weather, and then you wake up, you burn your finger on your coffee or your tongue on your coffee, and there's traffic on the way to work and you're super annoyed, but you get to work and you see your bestie and you have this moment of like, hey bestie, and then you're all excited because they brought you like muffins to work. And you completely shifted realities in different states. And you're all happy and excited now because you see your bestie. And like 5 seconds ago, it doesn't even exist anymore because the weather was whatever. And you've totally and completely forgot about that because you're shifting states all day long. Driving but vibing. Oh, I love you so much. Yay. So just realize the power in that you can control who you are showing up in your reality at all times. Are you being the victim? Are you being the victor? Are you in your power? Are you making meaning of things that have happened to you in your past and you're dragging that along with you like you're carrying a bag of bricks on your back? Or have you taken off that bag and you said, sayonara, that's not even me? Do you know how powerful you can become when you can look at people that you might have had these moments with in the past that were negative, but you've healed so much, you're not even the same person, to a point where like you see them and you send them love. That is like a level of healing that you know that you've taken leaps and bounds in your life when you finally are there. Like when I tell you, people don't understand how I forgave my music manager. I never told him I forgave him, but energetically I have forgiven him for everything that I went through, being labor trafficked by him, having, being abused and had the shit beat out of me, him taking all my money from dancing, and just what I went through was whatever, right? Like for me, I look at that story and I'm so detached from the past that I can speak on it like I'm almost telling a story of somebody else because it's not even the version that I am anymore, right? And the reason I could forgive him is because I'm not attached to my past anymore. I have healed that part of myself. I've forgiven myself, right? When we forgive others, it's really us forgiving ourselves and the version that we were that showed up in that scenario, right? We're for how we are showing up. When we no longer want to be the victim in our life, we recognize the role that we were playing in that scenario, right? And then we completely eliminate the victim or the survivor or any of it at all. I don't claim myself to be a victim or a survivor. You're never going to catch me calling myself any of those. Because again, it's lost its meaning that I had attached to it, the meaning that would have been affecting my life to this day because I would have had this attachment to it. It's gone because I've decided to be a whole new version of myself to where I'm not carrying something along with me from my past. And we do this all the time. Like, even I do this. I have to catch myself because there'll be moments where I see my behavior and I recognize where that childhood trauma is still playing its role in my experience today as a 34-year-old woman, right? And the first thing we want to do is blame it on the childhood trauma, but we can't do that anymore. We just have to be consciously aware that there's still some work to do on ourselves, right? We still have work to do. So anyways, I wanted to share this with you guys today because you can decide right now who you want to be. And we have to set ourselves up for success. If you're in an environment with people that are not supportive, or they're reminding you of your past, or they're reminding you of who you used to be, or they're reminding you and trying to drag you back into that version of you, you got to set yourself up for success. You've got to surround yourself with people that are encouraging this new version of you. Sometimes we even got to take space altogether from people because we need to reset and refocus and realign into a new version of ourselves to introduce ourselves back into those environments where we are a completely different version of ourselves and we haven't been influenced by the people around us that only know one certain version of, who we've been, right? So recognize when that is it's a time for you to do that, to take some space, mental diet, work on yourself, work on healing yourself, understanding your trauma. I believe that to become the best version of ourselves, there is a process of healing and mastery that we have to go through. And this is why Feels with Meesh is all about healing and self-mastery. There are a lot of people out there that speak about just deciding and becoming that version. But I think that most of the world, people have such deep-rooted attachments to their past that there is a process of healing that is necessary for them to go through in order for them to detach from their past. And I believe that I'm here to help those people work through that because I've done it for myself. And so the credit and the credentials that I have are really just the journey back to myself and what I'm here to share and help others recognize the power that exists inside of you guys. You don't have to go anywhere, do anything, or where other than just right in the now moment to do that work and recognize who you are. So I want to take off for a little bit. I just talked my own ear off. I hope that this message found you guys well. If any of you guys would like to book personal sessions for healing and self-mastery work, I offer one-on-one coaching sessions. You can email me coaching@feelswithmeesh.com. I'm sending you all so much love. I hope you have an amazing, beautiful, positive day because you absolutely deserve it. Thank you so much for being here. Bye, guys.
Try and explain it to the blind. May you wake up from inside. See the truth through the third eye. Let your heart be your guide. Light up the way. Let your heart be your guide. Free from your pain, it ain't a mistake, 'cause you choose your fate.